Hey guys, I know that every month when I send out a newsletter, there's a little Rachel Rambles section that those of you who take the time to read the newsletter knows that in that section I like to challenge you, inspire you, motivate you, and basically just give you a small one paragraph motivation blurb from me. And after talking to a couple of the supervisors and also seeing that when I communicate by video, it works a little better, especially for you auditory and visual learners. It's a little easier than just reading emails. And, since it's hard to travel and go see everyone in person, I'm going to occasionally, trust me, I'm not going to bombard you with Rachel Ramble videos. But every once in a while, when either something comes up that we really think would be good to pass on and keep for prosperity, I'll probably make one of these and send them out. And so today, first, I want to share a really great idea for you in the world of COVID and technology. So, Carmen from Windmill, I believe in either in late January or early February, I shared her idea with all of y'all about doing a Zoom movie night. And I shared a link that had lots of different video platforms where you can connect by watching a movie through something like Zoom, and everyone who logs on is able to communicate. And that's just a fabulous idea, but she's also taking it one step further that she's going to try to have services by Zoom. And I know I've talked, especially with the bond properties, that Paul is working on finding a way to get Zoom capability on as many properties as possible, because people are realizing during COVID that there are things that we can do through Zoom and through videos and still be effective. So think about your property. How many have smartphones? How many have Wi-Fi? How many have internet? Or even if your community room has internet access, could you do a service by Zoom, and whoever logs on gets to be part of the service? You could do anything, just like I'm doing right now with y'all. Like if I did this as a Zoom instead, we could interact and do a question and answer. You could show a simple craft and have them follow along. You can do quick tips for cleaning, quick tips for anything, health, wellness. The possibilities are endless. And Zoom is free if you're under 45 minutes, which if you want to do a really long service, go for it. But, you could easily get a service done on Zoom in under 45 minutes. And it's a great way to connect wherever you are. It would be a great thing to do with your residents. You would probably have to have a Zoom tutorial session, especially for some of the older residents or those who haven't used it before. But in the past year, the number of people who I know who have learned how to use Zoom is incredible. I have one friend who's in her 80s, and she learned how to Zoom her grandkids, and then she taught her entire bridge group how to Zoom as well. And so all of them are now able to connect with their grandkids because they learned how to Zoom. So I know there are other video platforms. Zoom is just one of the easiest and readily accessible and pretty user-friendly ones. So that's my first little bit of rambling is, if you think your property could handle and would want to participate in a Zoom, even if you get one person, that is one person on your property that you reached and needed some social interaction and some services that day. So it would be a success. My next thing is I have kind of an analogy to share with y'all. Please bear with me because all of the technical terms of this, I am not an expert at. When I say the word research and the process of research, I vaguely know what you do, but really I have very little clue. So if I say like the wrong number or something like, this is not me lecturing you on how to do research. This is an analogy that, since research are a big deal for y'all and they are not the quickest and easiest part of your job, I thought that it would be a good analogy. So bear with me. Okay. These are my 15 residents who have research due in April. Okay. I believe that the first time y'all send out notices is supposed to be 120 days. And if I'm wrong, just think of the first time you send out your notices for research. You send them out to all 15 of these residents. You have 2 residents that are super on the ball and super organized, and they're the type of people that when you grow up, that's who you want to be, in the fact that they just seem to have everything together. They turn it into you within like 2 days. You're blown away. You're like, oh my word, you're amazing. And you were able to cross 2 of those 15 people off the list really before most people might have even read your notice. So, I mean, you're just super impressed, super thankful for these 2 residents. Time goes on, life happens, we get busy. If I don't take care of something like within the first 30 minutes to a day, I get it, there's a good chance that I'm going to forget about it, or I'm going to misplace it, or I'm going to lose it. So, maybe the same thing happened with these other 13 residents. So your second notice goes out. I lost a resident. Second notice goes out. I think it's 90 days. And you have about 6 that turn it in. Again, they're still early. You're so thankful. You're like, oh, way to go. These people are on top of things. You just made my life easier. So there's 8. You're almost halfway done with all the residents that you have to get completed. So again, you're thankful for these guys. And you're like, okay, I can go on with my life, and then I'll just worry about these last few. So you got these last few left. You send out the next notice, which I believe is like the final notice before they're due, like 30 days. You get 1. And then like 5 more days pass, and you see a couple of them out and about, and you're like, I need these, I need these, I need these. Maybe you send out like a 15-day reminder. Maybe you send out a 25-day reminder. But you are needing these because by now you've probably heard from compliance, and you might have heard from your supervisor, and they're like, you have a lot of research due, and they're doing like less than a month, and what's going on. And you're waiting on these guys. So you have all these people from home office saying, where are these? Where are these? We need them, we need them, we need them. And you're waiting on these people. Last minute, last hour, last day, you get 4 of them. You're stressed beyond all belief because you have to get everything in order. Half of them are missing something. The other half have everything, but they're not in the right order. So you're shuffling, and you're stressed, and you're frustrated because they waited to the last minute, and it's put pressure on you. And then you're still trying to get these 2. You're calling, you're texting, you're emailing, you're going to their door. You're doing everything you can to communicate with these people. They're ignoring. And they're ignoring you. And then you send out the, what's it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like lease termination, I think it is. Like I said, I'm not really sure. I just kind of vaguely know what y'all do on this part. Like you have to start threatening these people to get them to respond and get what you want to do. And by now, your supervisor's calling you. Compliance is probably calling you. I don't know who else from the home office is probably calling you. So you are now behind. You are now frustrated. You are super stressed, waiting to get all of your research done. You finally do. And what happens? It's the next month, and you have to start all over again. Okay? And I do apologize that I'm not more aware of all the ins and outs of how that works for y'all, where that analogy was smoother. But take for a moment how I feel, how compliance feels, how your supervisor feels when they have to contact everyone they deal with. You know, the supervisors all have their own group, compliance each has their own little group they deal with. I have all of you that I deal with. When you aren't on time, it's not just one person, it's a group. So when a group of you aren't on time, you're adding more stress to whoever's looking for that information or that thing from you. And you might not have any idea who was at our back. But when we are asking, we need this, we need this, we need this, we know you're busy, but take a moment and think of how you feel when you're in our situation. When you are swamped and you're waiting for residents to get you information, it is very stressful. Okay, and that's why it's so important to communicate and to stay on top of things. And if you're going to be late, communicate. If you have a question, communicate. If you don't know how to do it, communicate. And don't wait until that eviction notice comes out. You know, do it at the 90-day notice. Because the earlier you do it, the more time and the more gracious you might find the person you're talking to. Now, I don't know if that made any sense to y'all. It made sense in my head. It made sense when I ran it by Judy, if it made sense. But I hope you can at least think about that in the future. Um, Keep up the great work. This is a hard time to be in a service industry when things are so crazy. But y'all are awesome, and have a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you later.